Ford is a household name in the automotive world, known for producing many iconic vehicles. But is any model as timeless and legendary as the Ford Mustang? While you consider that, join us in this video as we explore what makes this car truly unique. There's no doubt that the Ford Mustang is currently the longest produced Ford car since its inception in 1964. Initially expected to sell only 100,000 units annually, the 1965 Mustang exceeded expectations, becoming the most successful vehicle launched since the 1927 Model A. The Mustang name was proposed by Ford executive stylist John Najjar, who was inspired by the P-51 Mustang fighter plane. He worked with designer Philip T. Clark on the first prototype, which debuted at the U.S. Grand Prix in 1962. Although several other names like Cougar and Torino were considered, Mustang's was favored. Released on April 17, 1964, just 16 days after the Plymouth Barracuda, the Mustang sold over 400,000 units within its first year, reaching 1 million sales within 2 years. By August 2018, Ford had produced the 10 millionth Mustang, a 2019 Wimbledon white convertible with a V8 engine, echoing the original 1965 model. The Mustang's success sparked intense competition among American automakers, inspiring rivals like the Chevrolet Camaro and Pontiac Firebird in 1967, the AMC Javelin in 1968, and the Dodge Challenger in 1970. It also influenced coupe designs globally, leading to models such as the Toyota Celica and Ford Capri entering the U.S. market. From 1965 to 2004, the Mustang shared platforms with other Ford models but retained rear-wheel drive. Initially based on the compact Ford Falcon from 1965 to 1973, it later used the longer wheelbase Pinto from 1974 to 1978 and shared the Fox platform with other Ford vehicles from 1979 to 2004. Since 2005, Ford has produced Mustangs on model-specific platforms. Several iconic nameplates have emerged with the Mustang series, including GT, Mach 1, Boss 302 429, Cobra, Bullet, and the 5.0 badge for V8 engines. A valid reason why the Ford Mustang keeps meeting users' interests and keeps selling for years is because of its constant redevelopment. While Mustang is the 5th best-selling Ford car nameplate, it's already in its 7th generation. The first generation started when it was first produced in the 1960s. Back then, the automobile industry was going through a massive restructuring. People were craving small, sporty cars that were both stylish and affordable. Lee Iacocca, who was an executive at Ford, saw this as an opportunity to create a car that was both practical and exciting. He assembled a team to design a car that would appeal to drivers of all ages. They aimed to make it sleek, sporty, and affordable. After just 18 months of development, the Mustang was brought out in 1964. Named after a World War II fighter plane, it was unveiled by Henry Ford II at the World's Fair. Interestingly, it was essentially a revamped Falcon, built in the same Dearborn, Michigan plant. But that didn't matter to car enthusiasts, who flocked to dealerships to catch a glimpse. The Mustang was marketed as a game changer, a moderately priced personal car with room for four. Some people dismissed it as a secretary's car, but that didn't stop its massive popularity. To reach a list price of $2,368, the Mustang was designed with simplicity and cost-effectiveness in mind, using many components already in production for other Ford models like the Falcon and Fairlane. This approach streamlined production, reduced assembly and repair complexity, and allowed dealers to support the Mustang without needing extra spare parts inventory. Initially projected to sell fewer than 100,000 units in its first year, the Mustang quickly exceeded expectations, hitting that target within 3 months. An additional 318,000 units were sold by the end of the model year, a record, and over 1 million Mustangs were built within the car's first 18 months. In 1969, the Mustang continued to evolve with the introduction of big block engines and front-end styling changes. New models and performance upgrades, including the iconic Boss 302 and Boss 429, added more power and sophistication. Optional features expanded to include air scoops, wing and chin spoilers, and various decorative elements. Despite its popularity, the Mustang's expanding lineup and increasing complexity sparked concerns about losing its original simplicity and focus. The Mustang faced significant challenges in the early 1970s, as rising gas prices and shifting consumer tastes led to decreased demand. Struggling to compete with smaller, more fuel-efficient cars, the Mustang's future seemed uncertain. However, Ford remained committed to keeping the iconic vehicle alive. In 1971, Ford introduced the Mach 1 model, a nod to the Mustang's rich racing heritage. By the end of the first generation in 1973, the Mustang had solidified its place in automotive history and had become an emblem of American muscle and style. The Mustang's sudden rise was halted in the early 1970s as soaring gas prices and changing consumer preferences sent sales plummeting. But Ford refused to let the iconic pony car fade away. By that time, Lee Iacocca had become the president of Ford Motor Company, so he pushed for a smaller, more fuel-efficient Mustang for 1974. Initially planned to be based on the Ford Maverick, the new model ultimately used the Ford Pinto subcompact platform. Named the Mustang II, this redesigned model debuted on September 21, 1973, just 2 months before the onset of the 1973 oil crisis. The new generation was 490 pounds lighter and 19 inches shorter than the previous, and for the first time, no V8 engine option was available, and this reduced size allowed it to compete with popular imported sports coupes like the Japanese Datsun 240Z and Toyota Celica. Later, the Mustang II faced domestic competitors, including the Chevrolet Monza, Pontiac Sunbird, Oldsmobile Starfire, and Buick Skyhawk. In terms of sales, the first-year sales reached 385,993 units, approaching the original Mustang's record of 418,812. In 1979, Ford introduced the third-generation Mustang using a larger Ford Fox body to meet the demands of the time, with a focus on smaller cars due to oil issues and international competition. Although Lee Iacocca was no longer at Ford, his influence on the Fox body design remained. The third-generation Mustang featured two distinct front-end designs. From 1979 to 1986, it had an angled front with 4 rectangular headlights, earning the nickname Four Eyes among fans. For the 1987 to 1993 model years, it adopted a sleeker aero design inspired by the Ford Taurus, with flush composite headlights and a smooth grille-less noise. In 1979, the Mustang served as the official Indianapolis 500 pace car, with replicas sold to the public. Its unique body styling influenced the Cobra package for 1980-81, and for its 20th anniversary in 1984, a special GT350 model was released in white with a red interior and red rocker stripes. In November 1993, the Mustang launched its first major redesign in 15 years, codenamed SN95. Built on an updated rear-wheel drive Fox platform known as Fox 4, the new design by Patrick Schiavone included styling elements inspired by earlier Mustangs. For the first time since 1964, the notchback coupe was no longer offered. The coupe's door windows returned to a frameless design, though the car now featured a fixed B-pillar and rear windows. It was in this same generation that the popular Ford Australia was made. This Mustang model was sold in Australia from 2001 to 2002 as a competitor to the Holden Monaro. Since the Mustang wasn't originally designed for right-hand drive, Ford Australia partnered with Tickford Vehicle Engineering to convert 250 units per year to meet Australian design rules. The redesign and production setup cost $4 million, and high pricing led to lower than expected sales, with only 377 Mustangs sold in Australia from 2001 to 2003. The S197 Mustang was the 5th generation of the Mustang. It was a modern version of the original Mustang design. Ford showed it to the public in 2005. It had a beautiful body and a special front grille. This Mustang went back to its roots as a fast, powerful car, but it also had some modern features for younger drivers. In 2007, Ford made some changes to make the Mustang faster. They introduced the Shelby GT500. It had a super powerful engine and special suspension. The GT500 was very popular among Mustang fans and car enthusiasts. The 5th generation Mustang was also the basis for the Boss 302. This was a high-performance version of the car introduced in 2012. And with that, we come to Mustang's 6th generation. Here, Ford introduced the 6th generation Mustang, a modern twist on the classic car. Now 50 years old, the Mustang boasts a new design with a low profile and wide stance. It comes as both a coupe and convertible. The Mustang offers various engines, including a turbocharged 4-cylinder V6 and 2 V8 options. Its exterior has a distinctive grille and rounded headlights, along with 3 air vents. The 6th gen Mustang wasn't entirely new but felt next level. It stayed true to its car roots while adding tech updates like a digital dashboard. Ford's new Mustang comes with 2 engine options, a 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder and a 5-liter V8 with significant upgrades. The 2.3-liter engine has a standard 10-speed automatic transmission, while the 5.0 V8 offers it as an option. A manual gearbox might be available for the top-line Mustang GT. But it didn't end here. Ford unveiled the 7th generation Mustang at the 2022 Detroit Auto Show on September 14th during a special event called the Stampede. The launch featured several track-focused models, including a NASCAR Cup Series car, a V8 supercar version, and multiple GT racing variants. Ford also introduced the new Dark Horse series, which fills the performance gap left by the now discontinued GT350. Like the 2012-2013 Boss 302, the Dark Horse is a street-legal model optimized for road course performance. Production for the 7th generation Mustang began on May 1, 2023 at Ford's Flat Rock assembly plant. The car launched with two engine options: a redesigned 2.3-liter EcoBoost turbocharged four-cylinder producing 315 horsepower, and an updated 4th generation Coyote V8 delivering 480 to 486 horsepower in the GT and 500 horsepower in the Dark Horse. With its remarkable legacy, the Mustang is a true icon with a history that shows no signs of ending anytime soon. Are you ready to be part of this enduring story? Let us know in the comments.